एनडीपी आगू जगमीत सिंह ने हैल्थ कैनेडा वालों जारी किए गए कोविड-19 मॉडलिंग अंकड़ियां के बारे अपनी राय रखी है। जगमीत ने कहा है कि उन्होंने टीम ने इन्होंने अंकड़ियां नूं चंगी तरह घोखिया है, जिस तो यह स्पष्ट हो रहा है कि कैनेडा अंदर कोरोना वायरस की चौथी वेव आ चुकी है।
My team and I looked over the recent data and the recent information released around the modeling for the fourth wave. We are in a fourth wave. It's very, very clear. And so I have a very serious message I want to deliver. I want, first of all, everyone to know that times could get really bad. Things could get really serious. And the single most important thing that everyone can do right now is to get vaccinated. And I want to speak directly to young people. I myself am someone, before the pandemic, I would say, oh, it's a cold, I'm fine. I have a little bit of a fever, no big deal. I would always minimize things and say, I'm tough, I'm fine, I'm not going to get sick. Or even if I'm a little bit sick, it's no big deal. I would say that all the time. Friends who know me that I would never admit. I don't even say the word I'm sick. That's what I used to say. I would be like, oh, I'm not, I just have a minor malfunction. I wouldn't even admit when I was actually legitimately having a fever or I was sick. I wouldn't admit it because I wanted to be tough. I got vaccinated. I 100% got vaccinated. I got 2 vaccines. We showed it to the world. My wife and I got vaccinated because we know it's important. This is serious. This is serious stuff. You got to get vaccinated. You might be young, you might be healthy, but we do not know that you're going to be protected just because you're young and healthy. And more than that, we know maybe you might be okay, but getting vaccinated will prevent the spread. It helps reduce the spread. So getting vaccinated means you are saving someone else. Maybe a loved one who's vulnerable. Maybe a kid that's in your family, a young one in your family who can't get vaccinated. It would be a horrible thing to happen to anybody. I would never want this to happen to anybody. But the heartbreaking feeling of knowing that you didn't get vaccinated and that could have saved a life, that is heartbreaking. That would be horrible. And that's what we're seeing right now. All the data is showing the people that are getting sick are people that are not vaccinated. So get vaccinated. Do it for yourself and do it for the people that you love. It would make a huge difference.
कैनेडा ਵਿੱਚ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਚੋਣਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਚੋਣ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਜ਼ੋਰਾਂ ਸ਼ੋਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਆਗੂ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੀ ਯੋਜਨਾ ਨੂੰ ਉਜਾਗਰ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾਅਵਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਮੁੰਦਰੀ ਜਹਾਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਸਫ਼ਰ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ 12 ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਉਮਰ ਵਰਗ ਦੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਰੋਨਾ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਕਰਵਾਈ ਜਾ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ।
The last 18 months have been tough. And I know we're all looking forward to getting back to the things we love. Having your kids in school with their friends. Reopening your restaurant to full capacity. And yes, taking a vacation with your family. We can get there. And the way we do is by finishing the fight against COVID-19 for good. You've gotten vaccinated. And for those who haven't, make sure you do. You've worn your mask. You stayed home. You canceled your plans. And now you want to get back to what makes you happy and know that you're not at risk and that your kids are not at risk as you do so. Canadians stepped up. They did the right things. They made those sacrifices. They held strong for each other. And we're getting closer to the time where all that hard work and sacrifice will come to fruition. But in the last year and a half, it's been hard for Canadians to know what's safe and what's not. Clearly, it's a good idea to wear a mask in a busy place. It's the right thing to do to get your vaccine. What about the things we love that we haven't been able to do for a while? Well, when it comes to travel, we have a plan to make sure you don't have to wonder about the risks. We'll ensure that everyone 12 or older on a plane or train is fully vaccinated. So if you get on a plane like the one behind me today, you won't have to worry if the person beside you or across the aisle from your daughter has had both doses. You know they have. And with an airline like Sunwing, which has shown leadership on vaccination for all employees,
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਕਿਉਰਮੈਂਟ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਅਨੀਤਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਨੇ ਕੋਰੋਨਾ ਕਾਲ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤੀਆਂ ਗਿਣਵਾਈਆਂ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਪੜਾਅ ਤਹਿਤ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਨੇ 2.5 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ PPE ਕਿਟਸ ਹੈਲਥ ਕੇਅਰ ਵਰਕਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਕਰਵਾਈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਹੈਲਥ ਕੇਅਰ ਵਰਕਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਲਈ ਕਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਸਾਈਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ।
Our government has worked relentlessly to deliver for Canadians. We have climbed what I call 3 mountains. In the first mountain, we procured 2.5 billion items of PPE for our frontline healthcare workers. We made sure we put in place long-term contracts to deliver PPE over the course of months and years if necessary. And we also built up domestic production of PPE. Now 40% of our contracts by dollar value are with Canadian manufacturers. In the second mountain, we procured over 50 million rapid tests for the provinces and territories and Canadians at large. And in the third mountain, we secured the most diverse portfolio of vaccines of any country in the world. We ensured that those vaccines arrived before the end of July, 2 months ahead of schedule. How did we do that? We negotiated extremely hard, even after executing those contracts last August. We phoned our suppliers, we texted them, we emailed them, we were on it day and night because we knew that we needed to have Canadians' backs. That was my goal, that was our government's goal, and we were not settling for anything less than the best. In addition to ensuring that we are well prepared with vaccines here at home, we put in place contracts for boosters and any enhanced vaccine that may be approved by Health Canada so that anybody who needs a vaccine as recommended by NACI or other organizations, including provincial health officials, would have access to vaccines.
ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਜੇਸਨ ਕੈਨੀ ਨੇ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਸੰਕਟ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ। ਕੈਨੀ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਲਗਵਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਅੱਗੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਹੇ, ਜਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਲਗਵਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਤਸਾਹਿਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਲਈ $100 ਦੀ ਪੇਸ਼ਕਸ਼ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ।
I'm being joined this morning by Minister Shandro, Dr. Hinshaw, and Dr. Verna-Yu, who are joining us today because COVID-19 is surging once again in Alberta. As it is everywhere across the country and most of the world, the Delta variant of COVID-19 is causing concerning rises in hospitalizations in our province, almost entirely amongst unvaccinated Albertans. COVID-19 vaccines continue to provide amazing protection against infection and severe disease, even with the Delta variant. So I'd like to thank the 2.9 million Albertans who have chosen to roll up their sleeves. Yesterday, we reached the critical milestone of having 70% of our eligible population fully vaccinated. That's to say 70% of Albertans aged 12 and over. 78% of eligible Albertans have received at least a first dose. This is an important achievement, especially when you consider that Alberta has Canada's youngest population. But the bad news is that we still have 30% of the eligible population without full vaccine protection, that is to say without 2 doses. And the Delta variant is ripping its way through this group at an aggressive rate. When we lifted restrictions on July the 1st as part of our Open for Summer plan, the Delta variant was actually in decline in Alberta. We proceeded with that plan based on our Chief Medical Officer's analysis of data from countries like the United Kingdom that showed that while Delta did cause a spike in cases, it did not have a dramatic impact on severe outcomes leading to hospitalizations and deaths. In effect, cases and severe outcomes had become increasingly decoupled. Unfortunately, this has not been Alberta's experience at the population level. Vaccines do decouple infections, individuals, I should say, from severe outcomes dramatically on an individual level.
ਬਹੁਗਿਣਤੀ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਚੋਣ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀਆਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਸਤਾਵਿਤ ਟੈਕਸ ਮਾਪਦੰਡਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਸਮਰਥਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਬਹੁਗਿਣਤੀ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਟੈਕਸ ਅਦਾ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੈਣਗੇ। ਪਬਲਿਕ ਓਪੀਨੀਅਨ ਪੋਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ 82% ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਖਰਚਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਵਾਧੇ ਅਤੇ ਘਾਟੇ ਦੇ ਆਕਾਰ ਕਾਰਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜੇਬਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਬੋਝ ਹੋਰ ਵਧੇਗਾ। ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਫਿਰ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਸੱਤਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਵੇ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਫਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਅਪ੍ਰੈਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਬਜਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਵਿੱਤੀ ਵਰ੍ਹੇ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਟੈਕਸ ਦਾ ਘਾਟਾ ਦਰਸਾਇਆ, ਜਦਕਿ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਸਾਲ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਕਾਰਨ $354.7 ਬਿਲੀਅਨ ਦਾ ਘਾਟਾ ਦਰਸਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ। ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਆਗੂ ਜਗਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਇਹ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਅਮੀਰ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਤੇ ਕਾਰਪੋਰੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਟੈਕਸ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਚਿਰਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੰਮੇ ਵਾਅਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਬਿਲੀਅਨ ਡਾਲਰ ਦੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਘਾਟੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ।
ਰਿਸ਼ਤੀ ਪੰਜ ਦਰਿਆ ਦੀ ਰਾਣੀ ਵੇ ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਰਬਤ